where do thoughts come from? Right? How do they get here? Here.
Get up, everybody move.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of Get Your Mind Right. Very happy to be with you. I'm Soul Expression. And I noticed that in this series so far, it's called, Get Your Mind Right. But we haven't really explored what exactly is a mind. What is this thing that we call the mind? Everybody knows the feeling of it. But is it visible? Can you see your mind? Even though it's working, even though without it you wouldn't be able to understand or interpret the sounds that you're hearing and make them into words and then make those words into sentences and phrases and be able to understand them. Even though without it, you wouldn't be able to do all of that work. Do you know what it is? Now, obviously, I'm speaking with a certain assumption that no, you probably don't know what it is. Have you ever even considered that you might not know what your mind is? What it really is? I mean, obviously, it's the thing that, we think with. But is that really satisfactory? And does that really tell the whole tale of the mind? Well, I hope to clear some of this up in today's episode of Get Your Mind Right. Because one thing that we do know is that if you go to fix something, you're going to want to know more about it than the surface area. Like if you want to go fix a piece of machinery, you're going to want to know all the parts, or at least a good overview of all the parts of that machine. So when looking at the mind and when trying to come up with a definition or, a basic overview of what it is, first you must examine it. You must observe it as if you were a child looking for the first time at an object. Not as if you already know, and not with the assumption that you already know exactly what your mind is. For instance, where do thoughts come from? If I were to give you a math problem, solve for x minus 2 equals 1, and then you get the answer in your head, where does that answer come from? It doesn't necessarily come from memory. It can if you have like photographic memory of some degree, and maybe you see a piece of paper where you've already had that exact math problem. But let's say it's a different new math problem that you haven't come across yet, and you look at it and you look at it some more and you're looking at it, and then bing, there's the answer in your mind. Where does it come from? Do you create the answer? Meaning, do you take images and then place them in the right order and with the right depth and in the right spacing and then construct that whole image in your head? No, that's not what we do. It sort of shows up by itself. So where do thoughts come from? Another interesting question is, how do you know anything is true? Like, my hair is long. How do you know? How do I know? Right? I know my hair is long. How do I know that? What exactly is this mind that I'm using to know that effortlessly? Or, that this boat sail is red, and this one is yellow and green, and this one's blue and white. How do we know that? How do you know anything at all is true? Even the fact I exist, I am. How do you know that? Examine for yourself. Another interesting, very interesting, in my opinion, question is, why do some people use their mind differently than others? There's a small percentage of people that can use their mind to shape the world they live in. And there's other people in their world that are not shaping the world they live in the same way, meaning with purpose and like on purpose. How does that work? How is it possible that the way I use my mind can be totally different and even, you could say, opposite of the way you use your mind? And as we examine the mind, obviously there's no scientific correct answer to any of these questions. So as we examine and as we expand our awareness of the powers of the mind that we're using, I want to call your attention to the fact that when you go to examine your mind, okay, when you go to look at it, and I want you to look at it right now as I speak, when you look for your mind, there is a reason why nothing shows up, why nothing concrete pops into your inner space that reveals, okay, this bubble is the mind. And leave in the comments what exactly you think that reason is. Why does nothing show up when I look for my mind? And I'm gonna tell you a quick story. There's a story in Buddhism, I think in Zen Buddhism, where first of all, in Zen Buddhism, many people that study Zen Buddhism try and reach a state of nirvana, a state of samadhi, a state of pure consciousness, bliss existence, where it's a total spiritual awakening out of the matrix of duality. Okay, so in this story, there's a man that's studying, and he's going from master to master, to spiritual master, to Zen master, to Zen master, to Zen master, trying to master himself. And at first, for many years, it's just not working out for him. He gets all the intellectual understanding, and he knows, all is one, and all of these spiritual truths. But for some reason, he can't turn it into his internal experience. He's still troubled by his mind, like a lot. And so he goes to his last attempt before he's just gonna give up. Goes to his last, this last master. And he says, when he arrives, he says, hello, I'm come to study under you, and I want to master myself. I want to reach the state of nirvana in this lifetime. And honestly, if I don't reach it in under your teaching, then I'm just gonna quit, because my mind is troubling me. Can you help me? Can you pacify my mind? And the master looks at him quite mysteriously for a moment, and he says, produce your mind for me, and I will pacify it. And the man, startled, says, well, after a few moments of thinking, he says, well, when I look for my mind, I cannot find it. And he said, there, it is pacified. And the man became enlightened. So I want to encourage you all to really examine what it is that you call your mind. And this will be a part one of a couple parts of a mini series within Get Your Mind Right on what exactly is the mind. But to know it for yourself, I'm not going to give you a definite answer just yet. Right now, I just want to encourage you to maybe watch this video again and examine for yourself the questions that I asked in this video. Where do thoughts come from? Right? How do they get here? Here. You know, again, you can use like if someone asks you, you know, if you have 10 apples and somebody takes away 3, how many apples are you left with? And an answer shows up in the mind. Where did it come from? Okay? And the other questions, you know, we don't have to go over all the questions. I already asked them. You can rewind the video. So, much love to you again. You know, during these times of great fear and confusion, I am with you, and you can also have your own back, and God is with you, or the all is with you. The source of all creation is with you. It is the source of your own being. So if you have a moment, then take this seriously and try and figure out, what is it that I call my mind? And I will see you all in the next video. Peace and love. So if you're new to Ufulu Child, make sure you subscribe to get more mind mastery content dropped straight into your YouTube feed. If you enjoyed today's episode of Get Your Mind Right, let me know by clicking that like button, and I can't wait to see you all in the next video. Peace and love.